in Bluff Creek Park, just north of Lake Hefner in Oklahoma City. And joining me is Joshua Campbell, who is an Extension Associate with the Horticulture and Landscape Architecture Department. And Joshua, we're at a new water conservation garden that you just installed. Can you tell us a little bit about the partnership and how this came to be?
Sure, Casey. Well, thank you for coming out to Bluff Creek Park today. This partnership has been going on for about 3 years. And it started out as a partnership between the City of Oklahoma City Water Utilities Department and Oklahoma State University's Cooperative Extension Program. And what we've been doing is trying to educate Oklahoma residents about the importance of water conservation and water efficiency in the landscape. And so, among many things, the development of these water conservation gardens has been one of the things that we've done in partnership with the City of Oklahoma City. And this park here, Bluff Creek Park specifically, was a partnership between the Parks and Recreation Department, City of Oklahoma City Water Utilities Department, the Oklahoma State University Department of Horticulture and Landscape Architecture, and then also the Cooperative Extension Service as a whole.
So Joshua, this is a great example for citizens to come and see plants that are really low maintenance and also drought tolerant. Can you explain a little bit about when this was installed?
Sure. So the garden here was installed last fall, actually in November, and the idea was that we develop a perennial landscape that showcases plant material that's either native or well adapted to the conditions here in Oklahoma. So we irrigated upon installation, but we've been lucky with the spring rains that we've gotten. We actually haven't had to irrigate since then.
Yeah, it's a little rainy today, this spring day, but let's talk about some of the plants that you've selected here. So behind us we have a lot of color, actually, some flowers, and a lot of times people think they're succulents and cactus. And so what are some of the plants you've chosen? It looks like we've got some yarrow behind us.
Yeah, one of the things I like to tell people about drought tolerant plant selection, specifically here in Oklahoma, is that it's not what you would typically think, that xeric type landscape that you would typically think of. We benefit from much higher average rainfall totals, and so we're able to have plant selections that are a little bit more colorful and a little bit more different than things you might think of when you think of a drought tolerant landscape. So yeah, we have the moonshine yarrow, which is a beautiful yellow, and that's an Oklahoma native. We've got some of the purple
catmint back there. And then you've also mixed in some grasses. You've got some little blue stem out here and some Mexican feathergrass. And not all of these are specifically native, correct? But they're all really great drought tolerant plants.
Absolutely. What we tried to do is we've developed a guidebook called Oklahoma Drought Tolerant Plant Selections for Oklahoma, and you can find that through the Oklahoma Cooperative Extension website. And what we tried to do is use plant material that's in that guidebook. And so it's not all native, a lot of natives, but not all native. If it's not native, it's well adapted to the climate conditions here in Oklahoma. It's a proven hardy plant for the conditions that it would face here in Oklahoma.
And additionally, some of these plants are also great pollinator plants as well.
Absolutely, yes, very pollinator friendly. And what we try to do is also find plants that are going to bloom at different times throughout the year so that there's color and interest throughout the year, and ultimately so that this kind of takes care of itself and is an illustration of what a low maintenance drought tolerant landscape could look like.
And most of these plants are labeled also, so people can kind of easily identify what those plants will look like in the landscape. We have an event coming up actually in June. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so on June 17th you'll be here back at Bluff Creek Park with us, and we'll be having a picnic hopefully, and just kind of walking through the garden, enjoying, hopefully in
sunnier day, maybe.
Yeah, on a sunnier day that things will be blooming, and we'll have a little bit more color out here, but we'll have a picnic and just kind of talk about the garden space, talk about the specific plants that are used here, and then hopefully pick your brain a little bit about plants, and I think it should be a fun time.
Excellent. Well, I hope the visitors can join us that day and come out and see the Bluff Creek Park for yourself.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.